Welcome, everybody. I'm going to bring the regular meeting of the Larkspur Park and Rec Commission of Thursday, April 16th to order. Director Stone, if I get a roll call, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair Friedel. Commissioner Harrison,
Here.
Commissioner Sunshine,
Here.
and Chair Friedel.
Here.
Let the record show that Chair Baxter and Commissioner Capel are absent tonight.
I will just quickly say thank you all. It's standing room only in our room. We're not used to all of you being here, so thank you all for taking time out tonight. We're usually talking to an empty room, so welcome. Public comment is the first thing, and this would be items not on the agenda. I would ask folks to step forward for anything that's not on the agenda this evening. Step forward and please say your name and your address.
Hi, my name is Sahithya Raghupati, and my address is 30 Del Mar Drive, Tiburon, California. Thank you for having me. My name is Sahithya Raghupati, and I am the founder of the nonprofit Sun Safe Marin. Sun Safe Marin's mission is to decrease skin cancer rates in Marin County by creating free public access to sunscreen dispensers. The problem is Marin County residents, such as you and I, are at a 43% higher risk for melanoma than anywhere else in the Bay Area. Just one deep sunburn can set us on a path to skin cancer. SunSafe Marin is committed to addressing this problem through our sunscreen dispenser initiative for Marin parks and schools. Skin cancer is the most preventable form of cancer, and using sunscreen reduces risk by 50%. We have already installed and maintained multiple sunscreen dispensers in these areas and supported an estimated 6,000 plus sunscreen applications. SunSafe Marin would like to bring this initiative to Larkspur through the installation of 2 sunscreen dispensers at Hall Brown Park and Piper Park. Let's shine as a sun-safe community, protecting our skin today and preventing skin cancer tomorrow. I would like to be added to the upcoming agenda to further discuss this initiative. Thank you for your time and attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you so much. We actually items not on the agenda we can't discuss, so I'll leave it with you and Nick to get it on a future agenda. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think the mic's on.
Yeah. Oh. Sorry. Thank you so much. And we can't discuss anything not on the agenda. So I'll leave it with you and Director Stone to agendize that for us. Approval of the consent calendar. Director Stone, I believe we cannot approve item 3.1, the minutes from December 18th. We don't have the proper form.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to approve item 3.2, approval of the minutes from March 19th, 2026.
I'll make motion to approve minutes. And I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion. Item 4, business item 4.1, we have a presentation from the Twin Cities Girls Softball. Is there a report in or, yeah.
Quickly, yeah, I'm going to bring up Amanda Splad right now. Amanda is the president of Girls Softball, Twin Cities Girls Softball, and this is one of the many groups that uses Piper Park, one of the many groups that use the softball fields, and they receive a discounted rate because they use a lot of time, and we want to make sure that that they're able to be out there and not pay the going hourly rate, and so we can have the girls out playing softball. So this is a rate that's approved through council as part of the fee schedule, and they're out here. I want to give them just a round of applause for the amount of work that they've done out on the field this year and in years past. Patrick Jacoby's back there, who we'd see out there for years, out there mowing fields and weed whacking and stuff when the guys just couldn't get to it. So shout out to them.
Great. I'm not sure. This
Just
is on or
flip
need
it
it?
right on.
Do I need it?
Yes, it's for the recording.
Great.
So please.
How about now?
Perfect, that's good. Okay,
Hi, everyone, council and everyone here in the room. Thank you so much for adding us to the agenda, Nick. It's a pleasure to be here to introduce you a little bit more to Twin Cities softball, get to know us, who we are as individuals, but also as an organization. I'll start by introducing myself. As Nick said, my name's Amanda Sklad. I am the president of Twin Cities softball. It is my first year in that role, but I have been on the board now for about 4 years in varying capacities. I have 2 players in the league who have been playing for about 5 years now. I myself am a local. I was born and raised here in Larkspur, not too far away. Been coming to this building for too many decades to count, so we'll just leave that there as a library, etc. And I have been living in Corte Madera now for about 13 years. If you don't know anything about Twin Cities, let me take a moment to introduce you to us. We are part of the broader Marin Girls Softball League, who fields districts from Mill Valley all the way up to Novato. We are by design a recreational league, so not competitive, not travel, and we do that purposefully to make sure that we can keep costs low and make sure that it's an accessible sport for many individuals in the district. And, offer scholarships where need be. That allows us to focus on keeping things fun and on development and really creating that sense of belonging. So all of that is part and parcel to our mission, which we describe as providing every player a supportive, positive, and fun softball experience. But you don't have to just take my word for it. I brought a couple veterans here to share with you how Twin Cities softball has impacted their experience. So Cam and Elle, come up here, please. Please introduce yourself. Tell us how long you've been with the league. Sure. Great.
Hi, my name is Elle Jacoby, and I've been playing softball for the past 10 years, and it's been a really big part of my life. One of my earliest memories is one of my first games, actually. What I remember is the community. The coaches and the staff from both teams are really supportive in making sure that the girls learn the sport and also get to make new friends while doing it. As I grew up in the league, I met some of my closest friends, many of which I'm still friends with today. A major part of the league would be, well, for me, I was a catcher, and while I started to learn how to do that, a lot of people were supportive. My coaches, my friends, they all helped me on my journey learning how to do that. And I still catch today. The league has been a really important part of my life, and I really love playing softball still to this day. Hi, I'm Cameron Sklad. I've been playing softball for 5 years, and while I might not have been playing for as long as some people, it's been a really great part of my life. The community, like Elle said, is really amazing. They're also supportive and encouraging. And when I first came to the league, I kind of didn't really know what I was doing, but the coaching staff on all of my teams have been really supportive and helpful and helped me learn all of the skills that I now know today. And overall, it's just been a really amazing part of it.
Thank you so much, Carol. Awesome to hear those stories and just how positive an experience it has been for you. But it's not just these faces you see in the room. This season alone, we've enrolled more than 150 girls across 14 teams. We're really focused on building confidence in these girls, both on and off the field. We know the longer we can keep them involved in sports, the better it is for their resilience, for higher self-esteem, and better mental health overall. It's one of the reasons why we also made a division change this year across the league to make sure our 8th graders, which both of those girls are, can continue playing. So that's been really beneficial. As the girls get older, we also make sure that they are commingling across schools. So people that go to Cove are playing with girls that go to Cummins and Marin Primary, St. Pat's. And so it really fosters that cross-community connection for our players, but also for our parents who may not be running into each other, unless your neighbors are going to the same school. And it's also really helping to close the funding gap that still exists today between boys and girls sports. Yes, still here in Marin County. And none of that happens by accident. You know, earlier I said we were a community-powered recreational softball league. Well, what does that mean? It's 100% driven by volunteers. So every single coach, every board member, every effort that we've had on the field is only made possible because someone has raised their hand to actually help us. And, you know, that also, it relies heavily on sponsorships and donations. Actually, Jen Brandt, who's back here hiding in the room somewhere, was responsible, one of our board members, she was responsible for our sponsorships this year and really made a bang on effort to tackle some of the partners who were maybe underrepresenting in their donations to girls sports. So we really rely on those funds to cover costs that registration fees alone won't cover. So there's about 7 or 8 of us on the board that cover everything from league administration to events to all of the field maintenance things that we will talk about in a bit. And we do think that volunteer aspect really reinforces that community contribution. It's important to us. I'm sure it's important to you guys too. So now that you've heard a little bit about us, let's talk about one of our shared interests, our home base, Piper Park. You know her, you love her, how gorgeous she looks up here. As you probably know, we leverage both fields 1 and 2. This year, we're hosting over 75 home games and more than 200 practices. You do not want to see the spreadsheets I have to manage that schedule. Maybe you do if that's your thing. But with that amount of traffic, you can imagine how much ongoing maintenance and upkeep is actually required. So we've done a lot to make sure that things are in tip-top shape, including giving our batting cage a little glow up this year, cleaning it all out, and organizing some weeding days. You know, those things are persistent and are always cropping up, no matter what time of year or whenever you turn your back. You can't really see it up here, but we were also able to organize one of these with some of the folks from the Adult League. So it was really nice to have that partnership. They rallied their troops and came out to help us get ready for opening day. We've also made some larger capital investments this year, including installing new pitchers mounts and bases, making sure that we have top of the line gear for the girls from a safety perspective and just from a regulation standpoint. As we know, things tend to shift over the years, so making sure that the distances are all correct and accurate just for the divisions that we have. As I mentioned, we now fielded a 15 new team this year, which was the first time in many years. So we had to make sure everything was up to speed. And then we also did an infield leveling project on field 1, which we partnered with you guys on. Thank you for the dirt and Public Works for getting that out there. It really helped to fill in some of the low spots. Nick was out there on a Saturday with us on his day off, wielding a shovel. So that was really great. It definitely has helped with some of the drainage, which has been fantastic. And you guys are no stranger to capital investments. We know, you know, the backstop upgrades that were installed last year looked really great. It's been great for the player experience. Elle can probably attest as a catcher, you know, definitely changed the experience back there. It just visually is, you know, much nicer experience for the spectators. And you can't see it super closely, but if you were looking at these images, the dirt on here now looks really, really pristine. And that's because of another investment from you guys. This gator has allowed, you know, much more efficient dragging of the dirt on an ongoing basis. And that frequency has just really up-leveled the quality of the playing experience. So really happy to partner with you guys on that and allowing access to us. But like everything, you know, there's always room for additional improvement. So we wanted to just share some potential future opportunities, especially as our program needs evolve and also just the facility needs in general, especially as we look around other facilities in our own community and even across districts. Just some key areas in terms of shade and storage and just that stickiness factor for game days. So sharing a few ideas here for consideration, one of which actually we know is already approved and happening, which we're so grateful for. So Upgrades to the dugouts are coming, so those shade structures, if you saw on the last slide here, you know, we were actually trying to keep the rain out, not the sun out, but I think it'll be so valuable and just really enhance the player experience for our girls at Twin Cities, but also for the other districts coming in. And then we know that a new Parks and Rec building has been approved, which is fantastic and very exciting. And we would love to just keep the dialogue open with you all in terms of how we might be able to partner together to enhance the overall experience at the park, not only for Twin City softball, but for all of the users there. Two areas in particular are around on-site storage. If you don't know, we do currently rent an off-site storage over on the east side of Corte Madera, just to store everything in the winter, waterproof, all of that. Of course, we do have some on-site storage at Piper, but it's not nearly enough and just not the right sort of environment to make sure all that gear stays safe and protected. So that would be a really incredible opportunity to just increase the efficiency for our volunteers and coaches who are, you know, at Piper all the time. And while we've gotten pretty creative as it pertains to, you know, snack shacks and those types of things, we do think having some kind of permanent snack shack option at the park would really, you know, make it more exciting for the spectators, for the players, and give people a reason to actually come to the park and stay to the park. We know it's the most traffic park in the county, but still. So we couldn't help ourselves, and with the help of our AI friends, and try to imagine, you know, what this might look like in the future. So you can see there a little snack shack window, some outdoor storage, but also on the backside, a nice garage door that opens and allows us and other park users to store things. And Nick's laughing at me because he thinks my ideas are, you know, maybe a little over the top, but you know, it's AI, it's not completely accurate and to scale, but it's just a nice illustrative way to showcase some future opportunities. Again, mostly it's just about partnering with you guys, figuring out how we can make the park a better experience for all, because that's important to us, not only for, you know, our families and players, but for the whole community. It would really, you know, help increase efficiency for our volunteers if that was an option to keep more things on site. And then as we enhance that park experience, we think it's really valuable for Twin City softball because it will help make the program better and more sustainable, because we're competing with a lot of other sports that have a lot of these options. So the better we can make Piper Park, the better we can make the Twin Cities softball experience for everyone. And that's it. Mostly it was just an opportunity for you guys to get to know us a little bit better, to thank you for the partnership already. And we look forward to much more to come. And I accidentally have Nick's cell phone number now, so he's never going to get rid of me. But thank you guys so much for everything today, and can't wait to do more with y'all. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Brings us to business item 4.2. Proposal for designating court number 4 for pickleball courts and courts 1 through 3 for tennis courts. Director Stone, I believe you have a director's report for us on this.
I do have a presentation for you. Thank you, Chair Friedel. For those that don't know me, my name is Nick Stone. I'm the Recreation Director here in Larkspur. I've worked here in Larkspur for about 11 years, and I've been the director for 4 years, almost 4 years now. So I've seen a lot of changes at the park. A lot of things have stayed the same. But one thing that I'm dedicated to, and I can speak for the commission on this, is that we're dedicated to the experience for everybody at Piper Park and beyond. So I'm going to go over a little background of why we're here tonight. And I'm going to explain the proposal, how we got here, and the reasons for getting here. I want to remind everyone here and let everyone here know that the Larkspur Parks and Rec Commission is the advisory board here. They're going to make recommendations to City Council, and they're going to do that with the interest of Larkspur residents and taxpayers. So they're going to do what is best in their opinion for the city of Larkspur. A little bit about Piper Park. You heard some about it from the softball presentation, but if you haven't seen my presentation from last year, which I hope to go back and look, you'll see that Piper Park had 400,000 visits last year. It is one of the busiest parks in Marin, if not the busiest. So one of the great things about that is it's not just Larkspur residents that are using it, it's people from all over, and it has created quite a community. And that was one of the draws that brought me here to Larkspur, is how great this park was, and many council members have referred to it as a crown jewel. I've seen tennis out here for years. Tennis started here in the 70s, and tennis courts have always been packed. It's been a #1 revenue generator for the department, and it has come with its issues at times, but it's a long-standing program here. Has anybody ever seen a meteoric rise like pickleball? It was crazy. I remember when it happened, and it's exciting. And I'd like to say that we were one of the first in the county to really jump on this, and we started in 2018 doing lessons in the hall gymnasium before moving outside, and first chalking lines. And I'm sure most of you know George Silva, who helped us with that, and then eventually got approval from the commission for 4 painted lines, and moved on to 8 painted lines at Piper Park. So tonight I'm going to be proposing a long-term solution to what's going on out here. It's not a popular one, I know that, but I'd like to think of it as kind of a compromise for everyone. This is kind of an ongoing thing that we've been dealing with, and I'm going to go over a few of the issues that we've come up against. So most recently, we've seen a lot of court damage out here. When we started, we were using portable, super lightweight nets that were super easy to move. They were not great for pickleball. And then in a nice wind, they would actually blow over. And so people started grabbing the very convenient sandbags that were in the parking lot to weigh those down. Those sandbags were designed to stop floodwaters, not be on tennis courts. So those spilled a few times, blowing sand all over the courts, and made quite a danger for everybody out there. So we decided, and I really want to give a shout out to the pickleball community for this one, to go out and purchase heavyweight nets. And the pickleball community raised funds for this so as not to be a financial burden on the department. So we got these great new heavyweight nets that popped off their wheels. They would come undone and lay flat on the ground. And they were great for pickleball, very difficult for everybody else to move, creating jerking movements that people had to do if you had to move 4 of them or 8 of them, often be very hard on your back or neck. And we had a few people throw out backs, moving those. And then we found these great new nets that were heavyweight, but they had wheels on them. And so you didn't have to pop them up. During the summer, during the hotter months, those courts actually, those nets had wheels that the entire weight of the net system focused directly on those wheels, and it created indents in the courts. This is where a lot of the tennis players play. So these balls are now hitting these divots and kind of going all over. So this has created kind of an urgency for the tennis community to get a little bit of resurfacing, not a little bit of resurfacing, but a full court resurfacing out there. One of the big things that we do out here are, you've heard about the lessons. We also host USTA matches, and in order to host USTA matches here, you had to have a minimum of 3 courts that you can host home matches in. The other thing, George once recommended putting 4 pickleball courts on 1 tennis court. And it's great because we could really maximize the footprint of a tennis court. What it has led to is just a lot of increased traffic on these courts. So if you go out there and you look at the court difference between the tennis courts and courts numbers 3 and 4, you can kind of see a lot more wear and tear happening on them. Again, not a bad thing having a lot of people out there, but it's definitely something that's noticed. So there are rules and calendars posted at all the courts. I know that they're not always the clearest. They sometimes leave things a little bit open to interpretation. But one thing that we're seeing a lot out here is those rules not always being followed and the calendars not always being honored. There's been a lot of reports of people not getting off of the court when matches are about to start. We've recently moved our youth tennis lessons over to Centennial Park, just because it became kind of a battle every Wednesday to have those lessons out there and to ask people to move. And again, it's not everyone, it's just a few people that make it difficult. So we've moved those lessons to Centennial Court, hopefully temporarily. And one of the issues that we're running into out there is that there's no restrooms for the kids to use. Luckily, we've been able to use Marine Primary's restrooms, but that's not something we can count on long-term out there. I think everybody will know there's a cultural difference between tennis and pickleball that keeps coming up. I think tennis by nature is a little bit quieter, more concentrated. With pickleball, what we've seen a lot is a lot of amplified sound out there on the courts, which is not allowed. Food, and I don't mind the trash talking as much, but I know that it happens out there. So when I started here 11 years ago, the tennis courts were packed before pickleball. And I think what we've seen over the last few years is we're not seeing tennis stop. We're not seeing people uninterested in tennis anymore. We've seen people leave and people not using their home courts at Piper anymore and joining private clubs, playing at Centennial, or even leaving the city to play in other cities. So my proposal, which is not widely loved by very many people, I'll be the first to admit that. Currently, you're looking at an semi-overhead of Piper. This is a little bit AI generated. So we have mixed use on court number 3 here and mixed use on court number 4. That's what's currently happening. With so many challenges and with us potentially redoing these courts next year, when we make this recommendation to City Council, we have to come up with some kind of plan that doesn't involve the status quo. The status quo right now, if I brought a proposal for $100,000 to City Council to redo these courts, and I can't promise that in 6 months they're not going to look the same. So my proposal is to switch or to make these dedicated courts. We'll be looking at court number 4 being 4 dedicated pickleball courts and then 3 dedicated tennis courts. Part of this, pickleball would have the deck out here and kind of a waiting area to use. Part of the resurfacing plan, I'd like to take out the oleander, which court resurfacing experts have referred to as tennis court assassins. Their roots grow under the asphalt and raise it and everything. So it's time for the oleanders to go and replaced with some native grasses and some shady areas with benches. So right now there are 8 pickleball courts mixed use. That's the most in the county for a free park or in a park. There's private facilities that offer that much, but really that's not what parks do. Parks aren't out here to make money. Parks are out here to serve the public. And right now 8 has drawn massive crowds to Piper Park, and it's been referenced in most of the comments that have come in. And right now with this proposal for 4 courts, it's still the most around this area. And the cities near us, there's mostly 2 here, and there's some mixed use here and there. But really you're going to Novato if you want more than this together. One of the other things that I'm going to bring up right when we're on the slide here, the slope on courts 3 and a little bit on 4 too is something that has been brought up for years. So if I didn't say it before, Piper Park years ago was actually built on an old county dump. So it's, so this is a tennis court and fields and everything built on a dump, built on bay mud. So this is all settling and it's gonna continue to settle. Without drilling down to the bedrock, this is kind of what we're stuck with. The long-term fix for this would be to completely tear it all out, pour a new slab and redo it, which would cost in the millions of dollars. What we would look to do as part of this court resurfacing is add some, an engineer explained this to me, asphalt slurry that would be added to the edges here. They would kind of be blended in. It would raise the back parts of the courts a little bit, up to maybe 2 inches. One of the issues with that is that it adds more weight to the court, which would exacerbate the sinking. So we're going to talk about some more options that have been thrown around. I've heard get rid of pickleball. We shouldn't be doing pickleball. It's going to be gone soon. I don't think it'll be gone soon. So I don't think that's a great option. And I think, as I've heard a lot from these comments, is it really is a community. And I mean, look at how many people are here. We haven't had this many people at a Park and Rec Commission meeting in a long time, ever. So I think we respect that and we recognize that, and it's a big part of the community. And so that's just not an option. We've also talked about 8 dedicated pickleball courts and 2 tennis, but really we have to go back to the history of tennis here and the amount of people that have used these tennis courts. It also comes back, to be honest, to the USTA and Marin League teams that we have that need the 3 courts in order to host matches. These are private leagues that very few rec departments and cities can actually sponsor. So there's very few public teams in these organizations. New standalone pickleball courts is obviously the dream. When I referenced Piper Park being one of the busiest parks in the county earlier,
Not necessary.
you know, people are coming from everywhere and we are getting a ton of visitors and it's great. And it makes it just one of the most special parks in the county. But there's no prize for that. There's no prize money. There's no funds that the county magically rains down on us because people are coming from all over. This is supported by honestly a very small city. And so building courts is a big commitment. Right now, Larkspur is looking at rough budget outlooks for the next few years. So new tennis or new pickleball courts standalone, while they would be amazing, are just not really an option. One of the other things we run out that we're going to run into with this is that a couple of years ago we looked at doing a Piper Park, redoing the Piper Park master plan, and one of the issues that we ran into was a lot of money to get consultants to do that, but also Piper Park is a built-out park. There's not a lot of places to build anything new. There's a place here and there that we could put 2 pickleball courts in, but from what I've heard, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for more courts to kind of build that community. So really when it comes down to it is there's not a space in Piper Park that we can build 4 more courts without taking away an existing amenity. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Commission, for any questions that you have of me.
Fellow commissioners, should any questions of Nick before we go?
With the session. Thanks for that presentation. It's really thorough. Would you explain again to me this $100,000? Has that already been budgeted for the court resurfacing or is contingent? What exactly is the city council's?
So, yeah, thank you. Last month, the commission recommended 3 projects in the capital improvement program that the city operates. Those were some dugout repairs to softball. There were also some updates at Greenbrae School Park. And then resurfacing of the tennis courts at Piper and potentially Centennial as well. So these are recommendations. The capital improvement projects have not been approved yet by council. That's something that's coming up in May. And so one of the things that we talk about with this is that recommendation. Again, staff can't get behind without a long-term solution and some kind of security that it won't be happening again right away.
Questions? All right. All right, so I'm assuming that we have a fair amount of public comment. Can I get a show of hands of how many people are planning to speak? Okay, so we've got a certain amount of time allotted for it, so I'm gonna set the timer at 2 minutes. So I'm gonna ask you to, if you wanna line up, and if you come to the podium, state your name and your address for the record. Make sure the mic is on so the recording can catch it. And we will go ahead and start with your name and your address. Yeah, thank you.
Eric Bowen, one of Elizabeth's neighbors, 39 Cornell Avenue. Lovely to see you all again, commissioners. As you know, I'm an avid pickleball player at Piper Park. My son Marcello would be here with me tonight, and he asked me to send his regards. He's at water polo practice, so could not join. Obviously, been around for a long time, have a great relationship with Director Stone. Really appreciate all the support he and you have provided the pickleball community over time. The challenges that Director Stone has mentioned are all real, right? The solution being proposed is a very suboptimal one. So I would request that the commission not adopt the proposal tonight. Vote no, reject, whatever the right term is, and request that Director Stone work with the pickleball community to try to come up with better solutions. I have no doubt that a more fair and equitable solution that preserves the vibrant pickleball community we have exists. Fully support the resurfacing, to be clear. Fully support converting Court 4 to 4 dedicated pickleball courts. And as was outlined in the letter that was submitted, keeping Court 3 as a flexible court. The issues with nets and court damage, very easily solvable, just with different nets. The issue around tension, very easily solvable with a clear schedule that can be policed by the community itself, not asking Director Stone or others to police it. So highly confident in all of that. If this were to be approved, and then the city council were to approve moving forward with the budgetary money, it would destroy the pickleball community. 4 courts is not enough to support the community. When I was last in front of you, my guess is the community was probably right around 100 or less. And it's probably over 400 or 500 now. Again, all facilitated by your great support in allowing us to expand before. So thank you again.
I'm gonna remind you that blinking gives you 30 seconds. So you know.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
my name is Rebecca Harris and I live in San Rafael, and I've been playing pickleball at Piper for about 5 years now. And I just want to start by thanking Nick. I know you do an amazing job and care a lot about this community, and we can't fully appreciate all that you do to manage this hot piece of real estate. I drafted a letter about a week ago in response to this proposal, and over that time got 229 people to sign on from the Piper Park pickleball community. I just wanted to ask if everybody who signed this letter could stand up or raise your hand if you're already standing. So I'm just going to quickly read the letter, and I can give you a copy. I know you already have a copy, but just so you can see all of the names who have signed it. So the Piper Park pickleball community is composed of citizens ranging in age from early teens to 80s plus. It's made up of diverse folks from all over Marin and beyond. Our WhatsApp group has 208 members and counting, and these are just the folks who have asked to have their names added for ease of coordinating games. Many more pickleball players convene at Piper Park daily because it is a truly unique community where you can drop in and mix into games easily and find players that match your level, creating an exciting, welcoming, and competitive place to recreate. This group has fundraised for high-quality nets, which in some cases have been problematic, and also organized to donate equipment to San Quentin, has regular social gatherings on and off the court, and has contributed to improved health and quality of life for the countless people who enjoy this fast-growing sport. We, the Piper Park pickleball community, would like to first express our excitement and gratitude for the Parks and Rec Department's proposal to resurface the tennis courts. The courts have been cracked and in need of repair for several years, and this would be a benefit to both tennis and pickleball players. On the proposal to make court 4,
How much longer? Can you finish quickly?
yes, I will finish quickly. On the proposal to make court 4 a dedicated pickleball court, this would be a welcome change, and we fully support this proposal. On the proposal to make court 3 a dedicated tennis court, we would like to express our vehement opposition. Every weekend and nearly every weekday, all 8 courts spanning court 3 and 4 are in full use, often with 10 to 30 pickleball players waiting, often while the dedicated tennis courts sit empty. Reducing the available number of courts to 1 court would significantly harm this very special community. 1 dedicated court or 4 pickleball courts simply would not be enough for the growing ranks of pickleball players we see at Piper. We have worked hard as a community to figure out a system that works well to support all levels of players, and that hinges on having access to courts 3 and 4 during peak hours. 2 tennis courts, 8 pickleball courts are barely enough to meet the growing demand.
Okay, I'm gonna have to stop you, so we have a line here, okay?
Okay.
Kind of said it at 2 minutes.
All right, thank you.
We have a
I'll
copy
give you
of
a
that,
copy.
right? Thank you.
I'll just take a couple seconds. My name is Chuck Finney. I'm a Larkspur resident voter. I live at 707 Via Casitas. I just want to touch on a couple of points that Nick made. I totally think that what you're hearing tonight from the pickleball community is not really running afoul of the, I guess, the budgetary or fiscal interests of the city. If there is a need for the pickleball community to be a revenue producer for the department, I'm sure we can come up with a way to do that. We could easily form a nonprofit, raise money and support that. With respect, just 2 other points, the damage to the courts, we could easily go back to portable nets that don't damage the court. The technology's improved, and I'm sure that we could take it upon ourselves to bring nets and require our members to take the nets when they leave, so we're not asking tennis players to clean up after us. And I think the last thing is maybe the hardest thing. It's the issue about operations and abiding by schedules and rules. We're totally committed to doing a better job with that. I don't think the answer is to eliminate half the courts. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Leo Giraldi. I live in Fairfax, but I've been the tennis contractor since 2012. And I've been working as the tennis coach at Piper Park for the last 26 years. So I'm in a good position to see what has been going on and how it has evolved over the years. As part of the tennis community, and I represent a lot of the players that play competitive tennis or just recreational tennis. We are in favor of the proposal that Nick Stone submitted. I think it was very well done and thorough and great presentation. We look at it as a compromise, as Nick expressed. Nobody's going to get exactly what they want. That much is clear. There's no room to have more tennis courts or pickleball courts, so we have to find a compromise. And by definition, a compromise means that we get a little bit of what we want, but not everything that we want. All the issues that have been raised are true and need addressing, which is what we're doing right now. But I think for the current situation, proposal is a good proposal. It's a good idea. It's a very implementable idea relatively quickly. And we would like to, the council to give it its approval as well for the future, because it would make things nice and tidy between pickleball and tennis. Problem is that by going in water a little bit, it's hard to be on the same turf competing for the same time, because we want different things. Tennis is very quiet, it's concentration. Pickleball is going to be a little more. It's going to be loud. And I'm at your disposal for any questions you may have at any given time. Thank you very much.
Hey, my name is Dan Newhart. I am a resident of Green Bay, 39 Laterman Lane. I have the pleasure of living just down the street from Commissioner Harrison, who, among other things, is the chairwoman of our homeowners association. So if I cross any lines tonight, I'll probably get a supplemental assessment. Forearmed. I play tennis and I play pickleball. Most of my friends who play pickleball come from a tennis background. We played tennis when there was no pickleball. Times change. And this isn't about pickleball versus tennis. This decision, I think, is about fair use and smart public use of this limited resource. And when you have 32 people playing pickleball with a dozen waiting, and the tennis courts are largely empty, there's something out of whack. Cutting those in half is a 50% reduction in what's available to pickleball players. That doesn't feel like a compromise, it feels like a massacre. And there are other solutions. Pickleball can make money. Pickleball can have tournaments. I know it was, and I thank you, Nick, for all the work you've done. I remember when we came here with, taping down lines and bringing our own nets, and we've come so far, and that's really through your work and through the commission's work. But it doesn't strike me as setting up 75% of the courts in Piper Park for tennis and 25% for pickleball, when the pickleball use is overwhelmingly more in terms of numbers, participants. And for people who don't live here, they come and they stop at Larkspur businesses. I was talking to someone yesterday who actually, I think she posted something, she won the silver medal in the US Open. She said, I never go to Rulies, but when I come here to play, I stop there. So we urge you to accept this proposal and go back to the drawing board. Thank you.
I'm Jody Ellum. I live in Mill Valley, 373 County View, Mill Valley. I'm a local pediatrician. There's nothing like pickleball that gets a group of people out. It's not just teenagers, it's free roaming, free teenagers, all the way up to 80-year-olds who come to play open play, and we all play together very cooperatively. I play with all of them. And there's everybody here in the audience. I've played with your kids who are visiting from college. It truly is an incredibly vibrant community. And we want to do whatever we can to continue this, to keep people off their devices, get them outside, get them recreating, interacting with one another. It's a win-win for our whole community. And I'll just share with you, there was a day when I was playing, we were short one person. There were some Marin Catholic seniors who were trying to do a match, but they didn't quite have enough people. And an 18-year-old joined us and played. And we had a great game. And at the end of that game, he said, that's the most fun I've ever had playing pickleball. Yes, that's what pickleball is about. We need to keep this community going and allow us to have 8 courts to freely rotate and allow this vibrant community to grow. Thank you.
My name is Nicole Snensich. I live at 134 Locust Avenue here in Larkspur. I've been a resident and homeowner for 22 years. I have played tennis my entire life. I was part of a robust community at Boyle Park, Mill Valley, where I grew up. In the past year and a half, I've also discovered the wonderful game and community of pickleball. Just by being down at the courts, I saw this. I said, what is this game? I want to go check it out. So I have a unique perspective of being both a tennis and a pickleball player. As a pickleball player, I've achieved a greater sense of community than I ever have in my 20 years here in Larkspur. Due to the open style play that's established there, I've met people of all backgrounds, as others have said, ages 10 to 85 who play together, fostering intergenerational play. And then so many neighbors and friends, neighbors and strangers have become my friends. Tennis at Piper Park, unfortunately, does not offer that same experience. There's no open play established there. So I'm here today to ask you to reject, again, the proposal. And I would like you to reconsider dedicating courts 3 and 4 to pickleball, maintaining the current fence height. If you do a really long, big height of a fence, it casts a big shadow, makes it hard to see the ball. And to dedicate courts 1 and 2 to tennis with racks. There's nowhere now to hang your racket to be in line for the next court. And lots of people have talked already about a lot of points that are, well, I'm not going to go over it, but to address the issue of the fact that you need 3 courts. There are 2 courts at Centennial Park and 2 at Piper Park if you dedicate the other 2 to pickleball. And USTA will still allow you to hold those matches because you are allowed to hold those matches at 2 different locations within the same city. So that should not be an issue. And others have spoken all about revenue, all about.
Hi, I'm Laura McDermott. I live, I'm a Larkspur resident. I live at 20 Meadowood Drive. I think I'm a bit of a minority here. I think I have about 10 teammates in the back out there, but I'm a tennis player here. I've been playing at Piper Park probably for 10 plus years. I don't think we want to have this, hey, tennis or pickleball is better than the other. I don't think we should have that conversation. I think Nick and the crew have done a very good job trying to support both of us. I think what you're seeing is a bit of a, I think this is step 2. I think what we really need to focus on is step 3, or how we're going to find dedicated. I mean, if you want to look at open ideas, I think you said amenities or removing amenities from Piper Park. Heatherwood Park is at the end of my street. It is quite underused. I don't know if there's an amenity you want to move from Piper Park over to Heatherwood Park. It could be the gardens, because it's quiet, because my neighbors would absolutely scream if we moved if we moved pickleball or tennis to Heatherwood Park. But you could move some of the gardens and then build a dedicated pickleball courts there. So I am in support. I like the recommendation. I don't think any of us are ever going to be happy. Court 4 is the best court. You get, I mean, I was here when the, who was it? The Eagle Scout that built out all that nice wooden court area. We all helped him. So it is a great court. You're getting the best one. Court 3 sucks. It really does. It is about a 15% decline. It struggles. So please, if we resurface, we definitely need to level that court. We get so much. I don't belong to any private clubs. I love our Piper Park. Parking's hard. I don't know if you want to use some of the parking lot as well for creating dedicated pickleball courts. I do think your pickleball is here to stay, so I think dedicated courts is something we should be really looking at. And maybe I hear a lot of fundraising ideas, so let's all work together and not remove one. Or I do play in leagues. I think I've got 10 teammates back here. I do play a little pickleball too, so let's not take away one for the other. That's what I asked. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, my name is Anne Marie Divine Tasto, and I'm a Corte Madera resident. My husband and I have 3 young kids at Neil Cummins who love Piper Park. So thank you for having us all and hearing us all out. I am a tennis player. I joined the Piper team about 2 years ago, but I was a lifelong tennis player before that. And I have just joined a great community in that time and met so many different people. And my husband and I are not part of a racket club or country club. So without the dedicated 3 courts to play competitive tennis, I probably wouldn't be able to do that any longer. And I just want to echo what Laura said, that I hope that this doesn't become a tennis versus pickleball debate, because I see the benefits of both and I love the community that pickleball has created. And like Leo and Laura mentioned, that this is kind of a good compromise, that we can kind of come together in this way and still have dedicated space that would help both communities still survive at Piper. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Rachel Fillion. I'm also a Larkspur resident of 230 Monte Vista. I'm another tennis player, and really I just wanted to highlight all of what Nick said. I think was really accurate. You know, tennis has a reputation for being kind of an elitist sport, and the program we have here in Larkspur is really special. Pretty much everybody I know in other cities around Marin, you know, they don't have access to public courts without a key, or they have to go, if they want to play competitive tennis, they have to join an expensive private members club. So it is pretty unusual. My own team here at Piper Park just qualified for sectionals that are going off to Sacramento next month. And yeah, I think it's special. It's not typical. And so it's really important for us to preserve that. And we do need the 3 courts. I just want to pick up on what someone said about we don't need 3 courts because you can split games for USTA. I don't even know about the USTA legalese of that, but it's not just for matches, it's also for our training sessions that we have multiple times a week. There's frequently teams of 12, 16 people there. We cannot do that on 2 courts. We need access to the 3 courts. And I think as Nick pointed out, you know, they do need to be resurfaced. I take your point about them sinking, or court 3 sinking, but yeah, it is a compromise for us already, only being having access to court 3, because in fact, one of the games I played against Marin Tennis Club, the player was complaining about how she'd broken her ankle or something on court 3 because of the that slope. So yeah, we already will be compromising pretty significantly, giving up any access at all to court 4. So it feels like a fair sacrifice for the tennis team. But I mean, I want to reiterate what the last couple of people said. I don't think any tennis players want this to be a battle with pickleball. Ideally, we would have 2 completely separate places to you know, to play tennis and pickleball, and that there's a lot of crossover people have been mentioning. But seems like that's not possible right now. But in the absence of that support, we need to propose them.
Okay. Hi, my name is Maggie Oros. I live in San Rafael. I would like to make 2 points. One is more logical and one is more emotional. So my first one is I feel like I need to address pickleball when I say I play both. Okay, and I love how pickleball has become this social, very active way for people to get out there and be a community. Now, the logical way is I think the proposal is great, around 3 courts and 1 court dedicated to pickleball with 4 courts. That's 16 people playing pickleball and 12 playing tennis maximum. Okay, I feel like that's reasonable. And the second point is, which is emotional, of I'm not part of any club either. I moved to Marin a few years ago. I fell back in love with tennis. I also love pickleball, and I found a league, and that is Piper Park. And I found a community and a family. And I want to be able to say I represent Piper Park and USTA. And if I can't do that with 3 courts, then where am I supposed to go? So I want to be able to say I represent Piper Park and Larkspur. That is something that everyone should hear around Marin. And if you don't, that's really sad. You're going to lose the tennis community. And I think it's really important to remember that tennis has been around for a really long time. That's not always a battle against pickleball, as most of us play both. But I want to be able to go around Marin and say, I play for Piper. Thank you.
The Copenhagen City Heart Study followed over 8,000 people for 25 years and found that tennis adds an average of 9.7 years to your life, the highest of any sport. Not just because of the exercise, but because of the social bond it creates. Tennis isn't just about movement, it's about connection, and that matters. I started playing tennis here at Piper Park in 2021. And what I found wasn't just a sport, it was a community. The women I've met here have become like family. That's what these courts represent in Larkspur, a place where people build friendships for each other and stay healthy together. We're not asking for more, we're asking to preserve what's already working. Keep these courts, 3 courts for tennis, resurface them, and protect this community that's already thriving.
Just 1 moment. The gentleman in the green hat, I think they're gonna be the last public comment, or Okay. All right, so the gentleman, the last gentleman, the glasses, okay. Last gentleman there, you were the last public comment, okay, was that 15 minutes, we've gone double that, so. Go.
My name is Anna Frans van Vliet and I am a San Rafael resident and I've been so incredibly blessed to find Leo and the team and the community that I did not even think I could have. So I'm a tennis player and I don't want to fight with the pickleball. I feel that so often this is what I'm hearing and this is what I'm sensing. It's this against each other and it shouldn't be. I believe that we all can come to some sort of a solution and Nick, thank you so much for everything that you are doing for everybody. What I do really see, and Rachel brought up just a tiny bit, is that there is with so many pickleballers and especially also on the weekends, what happens is the parking is extremely challenging and we can't park across the street. It is in by the school and it's really a tough spot. So I don't know how to reconcile any of that, but it just means that more pickleball courts with more people and especially over the weekend or even during the week when we have constant practices. I mean, we're always using those courts. It sometimes can be very challenging. So I'll let you speak too. So anyway, that was just a thought that I had, and I would love the idea indeed of perhaps using some other places for the community that are available for expanding the pickleball courts or expanding the tennis courts. Perhaps there is something that could work as both will grow. I also hear that the pickleballers are growing, but the tennis people aren't going anywhere. We're still here and we still want to play. And so thank you so much for listening. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tracy Van Hooser and I live in Tiburon. And I've been very quick. One thing I just want to say is the culture of Piper is so unique. Because we have so many courts and we can offer level play, everyone mixes really freely within their level choice. If you go to other places that have fewer courts, that doesn't happen. And so people get really cliquey and they only want to play with their foursome they came with. And it has this totally negative vibe that we don't have at Piper. We are the friendliest, nicest place to play pickleball. And I fear that if we go down to 4 courts, that will be completely lost. The other thing I wanted to mention is that Nick said that maybe over the last couple of years, he'd noticed that the tennis players seem to be drifting away, maybe finding other places to play in Larkspur or elsewhere in the county. And, we definitely feel that when we come to play. Nicole took this photo yesterday at 4, and I think other people have taken photos or taken videos and shared them with Nick. And so often there's huge lines of pickleball and the tennis courts are empty. And so that's why we feel so strongly that we'd like you to reject this proposal and work with us to try to come up with another solution. I don't think anybody of these pickleballers here want to see the tennis league destroyed. I think we can find a way to meet everyone's interests, whether it's Nicole's idea of maybe you don't need the 3 courts to be contiguous, or whether it's mixed use for court 3, looking at different nets and clearer schedules. I feel that we can find a way to meet everyone's needs, and that if you go with this proposal, it will just destroy the beautiful thing that Piper Pickleball has become. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Nancy Bialik. I'm a Larkspur resident and taxpayer. So it's really nice to be able to use Piper Park after the years of my kids using Piper. I feel like I get to finally cash in and use the pickleball courts. So much what I would normally say has been said by others, and Tracy just made sort of one of the main points in us maybe putting off any kind of approval of a proposal is, I think it might be wise to see how much tennis is really being played there. I'm at Piper 4 times a week, and I can tell you, there are rarely people on those tennis courts when I come. I don't know whether it's the time that we're coming and the tennis players play in the morning and we play in the afternoon, and on the weekends it's reversed. But I would probably, Nick, maybe spend some time with cameras out there to see how much non-use of those tennis courts there are. The other thing that I'm interested in is really the common good. And when you're really just sheerly looking at numbers and you have 16 people playing pickleball and almost 0 to 2 playing tennis, the numbers seem to speak for themselves. I think the tennis players not necessarily have left Piper. It is possible that tennis is maybe declining a little bit as the rise of pickleball goes up, particularly among older people. I'm an ex-tennis player myself. I don't play tennis anymore. I play pickle. It is a phenomenal community, great for mental health, great for physical health, and the community itself. We all know the studies on sort of the social benefits of all of this. So I think the last point I would make is that somehow, Nick, you've worked with Eric and the team before I even started there to even start to acquire. First it was 3, and then we sort of got on to 4. And the idea of going from 2 tennis courts now that we have, one partial and one dedicated, to taking a 100% of that is huge. I mean, that is just like completely going backwards and not forward.
Yeah.
Hi, Nathan Becker, 450 Redwood Avenue. I'm in Corte Madera. I have kids at Hall and at Redwood. Typical day for me is I'll go play pickleball around 1:30, pick up a kid from Hall, take them home, come back, play some more pickleball, take them home, get a dog, do a loop at Piper Park. I live at Piper Park, literally. It's my home. I've been playing there for 6 years, pickleball, and it's just changed my life. I wrote a letter to you guys talking about how it's changed my life. I've lost weight, made this great community that I hang out with, socially. And it's grown. It's really grown dramatically over the 6 years I've been playing. We're seeing teenagers from Redwood come in and play in the afternoons. That's super fun to mix in with them. We have, an older group as well. And, going from kind of echoing what other people have said, I'm out there every day in the afternoon and both weekend days. And, there's all courts in use, 30 people waiting for pickleball, whereas others have said the tennis courts are often empty or maybe one's in use. Cutting the available capacity for pickleball in half, which is what this proposal is doing, would be devastating to this really special community. So I ask you to reject this proposal, and let's, like others have said, let's look for other ways to accommodate both communities. That's it.
Tyler Grossman, Corte Madera resident and lifetime Marin resident, lifetime tennis player, and most recently pickler for the last 5 years. I just wanted to make the point that I also have kids at Hall and at Redwood, and that they drop teaching tennis at those schools. They now teach pickleball. I'm not sure if everyone knows that, but it's just a lot easier for kids to pick up. So they drop the tennis teaching programs at those schools. They now only teach pickleball in replacement for them. That's not to say tennis is not amazing. We love tennis. Jim's an amazing tennis teacher, coach, excuse me. But again, 50-50, it's got to be shared. I mean, this is like the numbers are just going to get more picklers and less tennis. And that's just the facts. I mean, if you look at the data, that's just where it's going. So, let the data show that we need to share it equally. Thank you.
My name is Jeff Pearson, and I live here in Larkspur at 12 Boardwalk, behind Hall Middle School. I'm probably at Piper Park 7 days a week. I play pickleball there 2 hours almost every day. And I retired maybe 4 years ago, and I knew nothing about pickleball. And to discover it and be able to go to play, I didn't know at my age that I was going to have a chance to be able to play active sports again and find a community where I'd be accepted and where I could do that. And the same thing is true with my wife, who's never at her age, when she was young, but for now, she's discovered this, and it's just opened her eyes up to all this, and she just loves it. And I think this conversation is not about a debate about should it be tennis, it should be pickleball. It's really about how do we make this work together. And if you take dedicated, court number 4 is dedicated to pickleball, let's make court 3 a shared court, come up with some common sense time when people are really using it, so both parties can use it. And both parties, the tennis players will get it when the key times, when they need it, when they have their tournaments. it would make everybody happy. And I think that's really the solution that we ought to be looking for. And I would encourage Nick to, and for you to really try to do that. Thank you.
I'm gonna give you as much time as you need, because you're gonna respond to him, aren't you?
I'm Joanne Blumgren. I live in Corte Madera. I've lived in Corte Madera for 50 years. I've played tennis at Piper Park for 40 years. I was team captain for Piper Park Tennis for 17 years. Worked with Nick, loved him. I have started to play pickleball. I enjoy the pickleball community. I am so amazed at what they have developed. I would like to be able to share the courts with them. I would like them to say, when there are tennis people there, they should be able to play. I have been tried to be kicked off the courts by pickleball players who say, well, there are more of us than you, get off, we need to be on the court. I'm willing to say, take court 3, make it a dual use court, but put up absolute rules that say how it works. I am no longer a member of a tennis team. I am a taxpayer. I play tennis at Piper 2 to 3 times a week. There are some times when there are no people at the Piper courts, tennis players. There are some times when there are people waiting. I have waited 45 minutes to get on a court at Piper. So I don't want you to think that there's never anybody waiting there at Piper. I am so willing to share these courts with the pickleball players if they will look at the rules and say, let's get together. Not one pickleball person came to me and said, let's work this out. They see me there every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, when they're there. I went to some and said, let's work this out. They didn't come to me. I want to work it out with them. I want court 3 to be a dual use court with absolute rules as to who can play when. Thank you.
Thank you all for that. Thank you all for playing nicely. I appreciate that. I'm gonna bring it back up here for questions from my fellow commissioners of either Nick or each other. What? Of you, Commissioner Harrison? Hey, sorry.
I think this is on, right?
Yes.
Okay. One, I'm very impressed that we have such an impassioned community when it comes to racket and paddle sports. It's very thought-provoking. I will ask Nick, and I think we've talked about it before. I know a lot of other communities have scheduling programs that allow people to reserve courts. And I wonder if that might be something that could be helpful. So one, folks don't have to stand around and wait. And 2, hopefully that would minimize conflicts.
No.
No.
I've looked into many reservation programs. The rec desk, which we have right now, does reservations. If we chose to do that, we do it for picnic tables, we do it for other facilities. Certainly an option down the road for tennis, pickleball, courts, something that I can even present to the commission. Right now, there's no such thing in place. One of my concerns with the reservation system is that not the calendar isn't always being followed the way it is. And you're looking at the rec department right here. There's not police that are gonna respond to the tennis courts to move people off. We have this issue actually in the picnic area is a great, example. There's probably maybe 10 times a year where somebody comes up with their reservation to a grouping of tables for their 4-year-old's birthday party, and there's a family already there, and they ask them to move, and they look at them and say no. And so then these people are in this position where they have to figure out what to do at that point, and there's not support here. I've referenced county parks before, there's rangers in county parks, there's not that at Piper Park.
Any other questions?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment.
Commissioner Sunshine?
Yeah, I had a question. Wow. And also, thank you so much for just being a passionate community. I'm really inspired to retire and come down and hang out. Down there, it sounds amazing. Piper Park is 7 a.m. When I run around, it is really nice too, but it must be really, really nice in the sunshine. I think my question, I was curious if, Nick, you knew that how frequently the USTA tournaments took place at those tennis courts. I just don't know.
Leo's gonna give me side eye. I want to answer this, since we should know this. So that they're not tournaments, they're matches that are played out there. And we have USTA recreation teams that are the rec departments. We have Marin League teams that are part of the rec department, and then we also have so a couple of teams that are, say, grandfathered in because they've been based out of Piper Park since the 70s, and those teams, I believe you heard from some of them tonight, rent the courts and use Piper Park as their their home court.
So in renting them, they reserve, there's a reservation system for that.
Correct, grandfathered in.
Grandfathered in, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. And then I'm just, in a percentage during the good weather times, or how many hours a day would these leagues be using those courts? I'm thinking particularly, or needing 3 courts.
These matches usually last 3 to 4 hours, and they're a few times a month.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sunshine, any other questions? No. In fact, Nick, I have a couple of questions. Shocker. I heard a couple of people reference, that the courts 1 and 2 and sometimes 3 are often empty. Are you tracking that in any way? How often is that happening?
Yeah, so that's a visual thing, I think, right now. So I'm at work from 9 to 5, my except for today. My office looks out on the Piper Park tennis court. So what we see generally as a pattern is we see a lot of tennis in the morning, not as much pickleball, and then there's a switch that happens about 1 o'clock, and we get a large influx of pickleball that comes in about 1 o'clock until dark. Definitely not past dark, right?
The rest of the ball.
So and so that's kind of what we're seeing on the weekends. I can't speak to it as much, but I believe there's tennis that happens in the morning and pickleball kind of happens at the same time, and then throughout the day, tennis kind of trails off. Which is not what, and I referenced having been here for 11 years. Before pickleball started at Piper Park, you would see the tennis courts busy 24/7, except on the really hot days.
Second, is he still in the room? Our tennis coach, instructor, reference classes, and you said that we've already moved our youth classes out to accommodate pickleball. What other classes, how many other classes are we running there? Or is gentleman running there?
Leo, are you in the audience?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on up.
How many other classes and instructions are you running there?
So as an experiment for the spring season, we moved the youth classes to Centennial Park. The number one reason, I mean, there were two main reasons. One, trying to avoid conflict between pickleball and youth classes, which typically have been on court 3 and 4 for years prior. And we tried also to give them, to have them on 2 courts and in a more quiet environment. But it's the first time we've been doing this in spring. So it's more of an experiment, and we'll see if we want to continue doing this or not. The main problem, as Nick mentioned, is that we don't have the restroom. We've been able, and Jimmy, who's right here, is the coach for the youth. He's a fantastic coach and teaches pickleball as well. So he's been in charge of that program. And luckily, he also works with Marine Primary Middle School, so he has access to the restroom and also to Joe Wag, I believe.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's a little problematic, because I'm supposed to stay.
Can you stay
Yeah.
with the mic? Sorry, just for the recording.
That's okay.
Thank you so much.
I do want to comment at Centennial, which is beautiful. The lack of a restroom that's close is difficult because technically I'm supposed to stay on the court with the kids. And when they need to go to the restroom, it's quite a distance to get over to Joe Wag, which isn't always available, only in the spring and during baseball season. And then Marin Primary, they're like, hey, we really only want that to be available, that our restroom for the kids from Marin Primary that are in tennis, which is just on Thursdays. But we have 5 tennis classes happening at Centennial Park currently.
Thank you so much.
And we have others at Piper Park as well that I'm supervising as well. In the afternoon, we have a 14 and under team. That's twice a week. That's Tuesday, Friday in the afternoon. So the programs have been very busy and vibrant for years. And very proud of them. And I think it's great. So we try different things to see if it would work, more or less. So we're trying to be creative is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Nick? I know we consider the crown jewel of Piper as a community resource and serving the basin. But we're also noticing, and I noticed it in a lot of the comments posted online, I think of San Anselmo, Kentfield, Ross as the local, like this came through a huge library production, and those are the resources that are supported for there. But even just tonight, I heard San Rafael, Novato, Tiburon. We've noted San Francisco comes over here to play. I heard a lot of Corte Madera, which of course is our Twin City sister. Corte Madera just built its own court, 2 courts, I believe.
2 dedicated
Two
courts,
dedicated
and
courts.
1 tennis court next to it. that
Next to
has
it.
2 mixed.
That can be mixed use courts, okay, and they just built their own facility there. So they have their own courts in Corte Madera, but people are still coming to Piper. So any idea of how many, I know we talked about parking, Piper fills up by 10 o'clock, parking lot's full. And during the week, I know the Redwood High kids are parking in there, because I've seen the kids running across the street.
Yeah.
It's cool, even with the new lot that's still open paved since the solar panels went in. Any idea how many outside of basin is?
So how many people are traveling here? It's hard to say. The report, the AI report that I presented to you guys earlier this year, that tracks numbers and data for that suggests that there's about a 30% residency rate at any given time in Piper Park. So I would say maybe along there. Again, it's hard to know based on the comments, maybe less.
Can you just give a quick, I don't know if people understand the report you gave on that study, and you can understand how people are coming from?
Yes, the county.
Quickly, I know it's a mess.
The county invested in some software that tracks bulk data and cell phones and not individuals, but if there's a high enough concentration of people that are in areas, we can kind of pull data and see where they are in the park and how many people are in the park, where their home zip codes are and stuff like that. So I did a report to commission. I wish I knew, but it was within the last year. And I would encourage you to go on YouTube, you can watch it, it's interesting, a little bit of the history about Piper Park and who uses it and when they use it. You can see kind of, the park is a hot spot, you can see, truly the tennis courts, pickleball in particular is a hot spot, and, dog park's huge, and then, soccer picnic area, it's about as you'd expect.
Thank you. And then just, I know you probably did this study too, you mentioned the concentration of the courts here that are available to the public is the largest concentration other than Novato, I believe.
So right now, 8 public courts, the way that it's worked out now, and these are mixed use, but there is not a public facility or a free facility that operates that many courts in one place in the county. So, yeah, the Novato Hill Recreation Center has 6 dedicated standalone pickleball courts out there, and that's a lot. Santa Fe has 2 mixed-use pickleball courts. The county has, I want to say, 4 together at McGinnis Park, and Corte Madera has 2 standalone courts and 2 mixed-use courts next to each other, as well as another 2 mixed-use across town. And then kind of as you go out west, you get fewer and fewer courts. So right now, San Anselmo, Fairfax don't have public pickleball courts that I'm aware of.
And our final question, sorry, for now, is I know that we just recently approved the capital improvement monies we spent on measuring money, I believe, was the resurfacing. And we saw the damage. What's the shelf life of that resurfacing? If this proposal were to hold true without the damage done by and I know I'm asking you to go out on a limb
Yeah, I
here.
can't commit to that.
Yes.
The one that, the type of work that we're having done is probably something where it would be good for 10 to 15 years with additional maintenance. Cracks will come up in that time that need to be patched, which nobody likes a patched court, especially when Leo does it, but just kidding. I'm along the bus there, but we've had professional patch jobs that they're great. You can tell that they've been patched. So this resurfacing would inevitably crack as anything. And we would be removing oleander as part of this and leveling out the back court.
And commissioners, any sparked questions, discussions that we want to start? Yes, Bill?
Also, just wanted to say, like, I've been hearing everybody who's come up and said, we should all work together to come up with a solution. I think is a really positive outcome of this evening and this discussion. So I hope that feeling of, working together in community, gets us some more longer term solutions. And also, I would love to see, I'm hoping that it happens out on the courts as well. Because it does sound like that is not always the case, and no tea here with this group, but it does feel like, respecting each other's the rules would actually make this a much easier decision.
Yeah.
But that hasn't happened, and so I would say we have enough evidence from the rec department, at least I feel like I have enough evidence from the rec department to think that that is not a tenable solution. So I feel very torn about this, because I would love court 3 to work. So it could be flexible. We've all voted, been through this before. I think for a while we had the tape down and the chalk, and then we did the paint. And so, we've all along the way looked for ways to expand access or shared access to those 4 courts for both pickleball and tennis. And so I think we're really on record for trying to come up with this solution. And I don't feel like there is another one at this point, beyond what the rec director has offered. And I wish that were the case.
Yeah.
You guys, yes, your comment, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm actually glad that you said that, Commissioner Sunshine, because I was thinking the same thing. I think the last time we had a large gathering here, it was about taking another tennis court and lining it so that pickle could play there as well. And at that time, there was a lot of discussion about interactions between the communities and making sure that there was respect for when tennis had their time on the courts versus when pickle had their time on the courts. And I understand that some of the issues that take place between the communities and who's using the court when and all that kind of is taking up a lot of the rec department's two-person staff to try to deal with that. And there are a lot of other things that we need our rec department staff to be doing, other than refereeing issues as to who gets to use the court. I would like to say that one thing that I do think is a plus for the pickleball community is that with the taking of court one and making it permanent courts with one, I am impressed that you get 4 courts on one tennis court. My experience is usually 2 pickleball courts per tennis court, so that's pretty impressive. But you're going to have permanent nets.
That's 4. Part of this proposal would be putting 4 pickleball courts on court number
one.
4, and they would have permanent
Yeah.
nets.
So to me, that's an improvement.
No.
It's an improvement as to those 4 courts.
So
I understand from a number standpoint, it's a reduction in the number of courts that are available. But I do feel that the 4 courts with permanent, permanent
permanent nets and fixtures.
is an improvement.
Pick the other.
Not at all. It is my opinion. I understand that it is not universally agreed with, but it is my opinion that when you play on a pickleball court that has a permanent net, it is a better experience.
No.
I do see that that is an improvement, which is one thing that would tip me towards saying that we should support the request from the rec department as to.
Would you like to know why we're all saying no? Would you?
Yeah.
We have something like that?
Director Stone, did you want to say something? No?
No.
Okay, public comment has actually closed, so I'm gonna say no to that for just a second. Go ahead, you wanna finish?
Okay. I understand that there are a number of people here who don't agree with my opinion. Full disclosure, I'm a pickleball player and I play pickleball probably 4 times a week. So I am speaking from my experience. I get it if you don't agree with my experience, but I'm telling you that I like playing on a dedicated pickleball court. Doesn't have tennis court lines on it and with permanent nets. So for me, when I saw this proposal, I thought that was a plus. And it does impact my thoughts about which way to proceed.
Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna start and. You good? So again, thank you all for coming and voicing your incredibly passionate experience about this. We haven't never had people outside the room. So it's a first for us, even with it, we used to have 3 hearings that would go on till the wee hours of the night. So I appreciate that very much. I respect both my commissioners' voices on this. And when I read this proposal from Director Stone, it does make sense to me. I also am looking at it as a commissioner and as a representative of the city of the fiscal responsibility of this. We just recently discussed the capital improvement of the courts and the resurfacing. I heard mention of divots and injuries, and I have to be conscientious of that. The comments and report from Director Stone about we have more courts than most other facilities in Marin County, that there are players coming from outside of our community. If we talk about local that are coming, some are coming from San Francisco to use Piper Park. I have to be supportive of our city. I too believe that this proposal makes the most sense in having the 4 dedicated courts. And, you know, I've been here 4 years. And we've gone through, we've continually increased. We went from chalk to tape to lines to the process we are at now. And while there is a very significant voice to say that the tennis courts aren't being used, I also heard that they're used at different times. So if tennis folks are playing in the morning, and I believe you call yourselves picklers, sorry, that's not picklers, is that right? Is that okay? Picklers are using it in the afternoons. Of course, you're gonna not see the same courts, but the court doesn't mean the courts aren't available later in the afternoon for our tennis coach to have his lessons. I don't know enough about the USTA requirements, if they have to be in the same thing, or if coaching has to all be at the same time and they need 16 players to be in one set of courts. I would ask you to respect that this is an incredibly hard decision for us to make. And that we did listen to everything and we read. No, we did listen to everything everyone had to say, and we did read a fair amount of public comment that came in, more than we've ever had. And it makes sense to me to try this proposal and give our courts the respect they need and the care they need so that they're surfaced the proper way. And especially the resurfacing of 3 that apparently is sloping the wrong way. Is there anything Nick, I know that you want to confirm what it is you need from us this evening?
Really quickly, if I could just address the crowd and just remind everybody that we're here, we followed a municipal process. It may not be what everybody wants here, but they need to be respectful when you're here, okay? These are volunteers up here. These are the Park and Rec commissioners. We're talking about pickleball at Piper Park. Please be respectful.
Thank you, Director Stone. So what is it that you need from us, sir?
So right now I'm looking for a recommendation to move forward with this proposal and recommend this to city council or to not.
Okay. So you need a motion or just a recommendation?
Correct. So I'm
Okay.
looking for a vote.
All right.
Yeah, what about the other 2 commissioners?
Okay, we do have a quorum.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation from the Recs and Park Department to send to the city council to make 1 court for permanent, pick for pickleball, and the other 3. Thank you. Item number 4.2. Yes, I don't know if it's like it. Item number 4.2. Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
Just for the service of this, we need to do a roll call vote, just to.
Yes, Commissioner Harrison,
Aye.
Commissioner Sunshine,
Yes.
and Chair Friedel.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Vic, do you want to, the next process, just so that the room knows? That this will go to council?
Yeah, so this proposal will go to council in next month for recommendation through the capital improvements project.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Welcome to stay for items 5, 6, and 7.
You're not, there's one of the second by the school, every Saturday. Yeah. Yeah. We get there, it's possible, but it, and we make so. Saturday. And it was,
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to, we're gonna start up with item number 5, the director's full report.
Yes, I'll make it quick. Thank you, Chair Capel. Sorry, Chair Capel. So just want to report that Piper Park is open. Parks are looking great. The public works crew has been doing a great job. The department is getting ready to show for.
You guys, excuse me, guys, I could ask you just to step out into the hall. We just have items 5, 6, 4, 5, and 6 to finish. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Director, sorry.
The parks are open, looking great, and thank you to DPW for making that happen. A few weeks ago, we had our flashlight egg hunt and our spring egg hunt at Town Park. The flashlight egg hunt had a ton of kids, and they waited almost until the whistle. And finally, really quickly, we invested in a beach wheelchair and beach walker system. And so this is now live. These signs are up around the park. And we had our first inquiry today. I think there's a little article, a press release was done in the Marin IJ about this. So
That's cool.
so this was funded by the rec department.
Are those the ones that we tested?
Yes, but we didn't spring for the electric one. Yeah. And that concludes my director's report.
Hey, can we have one of those or those out at the park so we can see them?
Yes, we can bring this one.
All right, thank you, that it?
That is my report, yeah.
Item, that brings us to item number 6, which is Commissioner's report. Commissioner Sunshine, Commissioner Harrison, any reports?
Not for me.
Just want to congratulate the city of Larkspur, all the employees, all the volunteers and the leaders of the library family. Like, to have such a joyful day amidst so much else going on. Where, I mean, I had kids going, I can't wait to go to the library opening. And I was like, oh my God, really? It was just such just a wonderful moment. And I wanted to thank everybody. I said, Unite there, you were VIPing it with everybody, but it was an incredible community endeavor. And I'm just so proud of Larkspur. And I know when we come together, we really get things done. So I just wanted to say, I know, wow.
No, I concur. It was an amazing day. I think whoever came up with the book brigade.
That's actually my report is Diana St. James, Friends of the Larkspur Library. That was her brainchild. And so a special shout out. I would really love to do something special for her. We can maybe perhaps invite her to a meeting and give her a special thanks from because that was really her brainchild. she watched a video. She saw a book brigade. I want to say maybe Michigan did it. And it was her brainchild and she pulled it together. There were over 1,000 volunteers that transferred books by hand from Magnolia to Rose. And so a big shout out to her and her group who started that. And over 1,000 volunteers did that. And that was just a phenomenal undertaking. So a huge shout out to her. And to, I don't know if everyone's aware, but the whole celebration setup was that our own director Stone, who was in charge of getting all that set up and the food and the.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, so I did not know, it was all Nick, so a huge shout out to him, thanks for that. And I can only concur, it was a great drive line for the new Perfect Rec building when it opens.
Very excited.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I actually participated and watching the titles go by was fun and moments burst out laughing. I stuck a couple of my overdue votes back.
I know, right?
Very clever, very clever.
So the new library is definitely a new crown jewel, it is absolutely stunning, so everyone who had a hand in that just deserves all the credit. I can't tell you how many times I've told Mr. Skinner how beautiful a building he built. That is commissioners' reports for us. We missed our fellow commissioners.
Yes.
Mr. Baxter and Mr. Capel, who will be duly reminded of their absence. But I will then entertain on item number 7, a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much.